Namaste students. In the first part of our video lesson on the chapter National Income, we learned different types of goods, then some important terms like investment, depreciation, and finally circular flow of income. In this part, we will first learn some terms connected with the national income calculation, and later on we will enter into the calculation of national income. One important term connected with the national income is domestic territory or economic territory. Domestic territory is different from political territory. You already know what is political territory of a country. It is the land within the four boundaries of a country. Domestic territory is different from political territory. Actually, domestic territory includes first one, land within the four borders of the country. That is political territory actually, land within the borders of the country. It also includes ships and aircrafts owned and operated by the normal residents of a country. Ships and aircrafts owned by Indians, even if they are not in India, are considered as our domestic territory. For example, an Indian ship in a harbor in London is India's domestic territory. An Indian aircraft in Dubai airport is actually India's domestic territory. So ships and aircrafts, even fishing boats owned and operated by normal residents of India will come under India's domestic territory. Third one, as I already told you, fishing boats, oil and natural gas rigs and floating platforms. In the offshore region, to do oil drilling, we use floating drilling platforms. So such floating platforms, natural gas rigs, fishing boats that are owned and operated by the normal residents of a country in the international waters are also considered as our domestic territory. So Indian fishing boat in international water, India's oil and natural gas rigs in international water, India's floating oil drilling platform in the offshore region, they are all India's domestic territory. Then embassies, consulates and military establishments of a country located abroad. See, every country will have its embassies in other countries. The representatives of our country, officers, will be there in the embassies or consulates or military establishments. So that embassies, consulates and military establishments of a country located in other countries are considered as the first country's domestic territory. For example, American embassy in India is America's domestic territory. British consulate in Chennai is Britain's domestic territory. American military base in Pakistan. America has military bases in Pakistan and also in other countries of the world. So American military base in Pakistan is America's domestic territory. Similarly, Indian embassy in New York is India's domestic territory. Indian consulate in Tokyo is India's domestic territory. India's military base in Nepal is India's domestic territory. So all these come under domestic territory. So domestic territory includes land within the borders of the country. That is political territory, we generally say, land within the borders of the country. Ships and aircrafts owned and operated by normal residents of a country. Fishing boats, oil and natural gas rigs and floating platforms operated by normal residents of a country in international waters. Embassies, consulates and military establishments of a country located abroad. These all are domestic territories of a country. Domestic territory we also call economic territory. Few examples let us discuss. Indian ship in Atlantic Ocean is India's domestic territory. American ship in Indian Ocean is America's domestic territory. Indian consulate in Tokyo, Indian embassy in New York, India's military base in Nepal, these are all India's domestic territory. Whereas American military base in Pakistan is America's domestic territory. American consulate or American embassy in India is America's domestic territory. So I hope you could understand the term domestic territory thoroughly. So domestic territory includes, first of all, land within the borders of the country. That is otherwise we call political territory. Ships and aircrafts owned and operated by normal residents of a country. Fishing boats, oil and natural gas rigs and floating platforms operated by the residents of a country in international waters. Embassies, consulates and military establishments of a country located in other countries. So all these come under domestic territory of a country. Next important term is normal residence. Who is a normal resident? Actually, institutions and individuals, both institutions and individuals who normally reside in a country for more than 1 year and whose center of economic interest lies in that country can be considered as normal resident of that country. Let me repeat. Institutions and individuals who normally reside in a country for more than 1 year and whose center of economic interest lies in that country. So that person or that institution should have been living in that country for more than 1 year. And their center of economic interest should lie in that country. What do you mean by center of economic interest? When you say center of economic interest, we mean earning income, amassing wealth, spending income, all these activities. So if all these activities are carried out in a country by an individual or by an institution, we say his or that institution's center of interest, economic interest is lying in that country. So who is a normal resident? Normal residents are institutions and individuals who reside in a country for more than 1 year and whose center of economic interest lies in that country. So normal resident is different from a citizen. Citizen is a political term. Citizen is an individual who has been living in a country for more than 5 years and who got citizenship from the government authorities, that is naturalized citizen. Then we have natural citizen, those who are born in a country and those who are living in a country. Most of us are actually natural citizens. We are not worried about citizenship here. Citizenship is a political term. We are dealing with the economic term, normal resident. Normal resident is an economic term. So normal resident is a person who has been living in a country for more than a year and whose center of economic interest lies in that country. Not only persons, even institutions like banks or firms, which are located in a country, and if their economic activities are mainly taking place in that area, even that institutions are considered as normal residents. So who is a normal resident? Normal resident is a person or an institution who reside in a country for more than a year and whose center of economic interest lies in that country. Let us now go on to two other important terms, factor income and the transfer income. Let us first discuss factor income. What is actually factor income? Income earned by providing factor services we call factor income. Income earned by providing factor services. Say for example, you are a landlord and you provided land for production purpose. So you get rent. Rent is factor income because you provided a factor service. You are a laborer, a worker, and you provided labor. For that you are getting wages. It is factor income. You are a capitalist and you provided capital for production process. You are paid interest. It is factor income. You organized the production process and earned the profit. It is factor income. So income earned by providing factor services we call factor income. Factor income is included in national income. Factor income is calculated in national income. Rent, wages, interest, profit, these are all factor income. Now let's see transfer income. Sometimes people earn income without providing any factor services. Say for example, you got a lottery. You got some money. You didn't provide any service. Just like that you took a lottery, by your luck, you got it. So it is without providing any productive service, without providing any factor service. So it's actually transfer income. Or somebody has donated some money to you. You got some donation from somebody. It is transfer income. Or you got a scholarship. You are a bright child. You got a scholarship. It is transfer income. Or unemployment allowance some people get. It is also transfer income. So income earned without providing any factor service, we call transfer income. Transfer income is not included in national income calculation. We don't include transfer income in national income calculation. It's not a part of national income because it is earned without providing any factor service. Next important term is net indirect tax or NIT. What is net indirect tax? It is the difference between indirect tax paid by the firms to the government and subsidies paid by the government to firms. Earlier, there used to be several indirect taxes that the firms paid to the government. Now, all those indirect taxes are replaced by GST, Goods and Services Tax. So, firms pay indirect tax to the government. Governments provide subsidies to the firms. The difference between these two is what we call net indirect tax. So net indirect tax can be calculated by deducting subsidies from indirect tax. I hope it is clear to you. Next important term is NFIA, net factor income from abroad. See, NFIA refers to the difference between factor income received from the rest of the world and factor income paid to the rest of the world. In the modern day world, economies are closely connected with each other. So an economy may earn, the normal residents of an economy may earn factor income from other countries. Similarly, the normal residents of other countries will earn factor income from our country. The difference between these two we call NFIA. To put it in simple ways, it is the difference between income earned by Indians outside India and income earned by foreigners in India. So NFIA refers to the difference between factor income received from the rest of the world and factor income paid to the rest of the world. So NFIA can be calculated by using the formula NFIA is equal to factor income earned from abroad minus factor income paid to abroad. NFIA can be 0 if both are equal. Factor income earned from abroad and factor income paid to abroad are equal. NFIA is positive if factor income earned from abroad is greater than factor income paid to abroad. NFIA can be negative also. It is negative when factor income earned from abroad is less than factor income paid to abroad. So that's all about the definition of NFIA. Let us now see the components of NFIA. Parts of NFIA. First one is net compensation of employees. See, Indians, normal residents of India may work in other countries and earn wages. And foreign residents will work in India and earn income. The difference between these two we call net compensation to employees. So net compensation to employees is equal to wages earned by Indians outside India minus wages earned by foreigners inside India. See, so many Indians are working outside. They earn wages there. That is our earning. But many foreigners are working in India. They earn money here. It is their earning. The difference between these two we call net compensation to employees. Net income from property and entrepreneurship. See, Indians may be having property or they may have some firms outside India. From that property and from that firms in the form of profit, they may earn income. Similarly, foreigners may have property in our country. They may be having some firms in our country. So they earn income from the property and from the firms which they have in our country. The difference between these two we call net income from property and ownership. So rent, interest and dividend earned by Indians abroad minus rent, interest and dividend earned by foreigners in India. That is net income from property and ownership. Net retained earnings. Retained earnings of Indian companies located abroad minus retained earnings of foreign companies located in India. What is retained earning? A part of the profit firms will keep with themselves, maybe for their further or future development. That is what we call retained earnings. So retained earnings of Indian companies located outside India minus retained earnings of foreign companies located in India. That will give us net retained earnings. So these three are actually the components of NFIA. So I hope NFIA is clear to you. Net factor income from abroad. It is the difference between factor income from abroad and factor income to. Next, we have to discuss national income and related aggregates. Before discussing various aggregates connected with the national income, let us discuss few other things, related things. First of all, Let us try to understand the difference between domestic product and national product. When you say domestic product, you mean the value of all goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country. The value of all goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year. Production activities might have been carried out by the normal residents of the country or even by the foreigners. But if the production has taken place within the domestic territory, we consider it domestic product. Next is national product. When you say national product, you mean the value of goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country, either inside the country or outside the country. So it doesn't matter where the production has taken place. What matters in the case of national product is whether the production is carried out by the normal residents of the country or not. So I hope you could understand the difference between domestic product and national product. So domestic product means the value of goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country, maybe by the residents of the country or maybe by foreigners. But when you say national product, you mean the value of goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country. It may be within the domestic territory or it may be outside the domestic territory. Next important thing which we have to learn is the difference between gross domestic product and net domestic product. See, gross domestic product means value of all goods and services produced within a country during a year. If you subtract the value of depreciation from that, you will get a net domestic product. The same thing is true with the gross national product and the net national product also. So depreciation makes the difference between gross domestic product and net domestic product. So if you want to get net domestic product from gross domestic product, you need to deduct the value of depreciation. Similarly, from gross national product, if you want to get net national product, you need to subtract the value of depreciation. So gross and net difference is the value of depreciation. Keep it in mind. Next important one is GDP at market price, GDP at factor cost. Similarly, NDP at market price, NDP at factor cost, or GNP at market price, GNP at factor cost, NNP at market price, NNP at factor cost. So here we should understand the difference between this market price and the factor cost. The difference is NIT. So from GDP MP, if you subtract NIT, you will get GDP FC. So difference between MP and FC is nothing but NIT. From MP, if you want to get FC, you need to subtract NIT. So keep these things in mind. Very simple things, let me repeat. Domestic product and national product. The difference is domestic product is value of goods and services produced within the domestic territory. Whereas national product is value of goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country, maybe inside the country or outside the country. So from gross domestic product, if you want to get gross national product, you need to add NFIA, net factoring income from abroad. Add NFIA to domestic product, you will get a national product. So difference between domestic product and national product is NFIA. I think it is clear. Second one, what I told is the difference between gross product, gross domestic product and net domestic product. See, difference between gross and net is always the value of depreciation. From gross, if you subtract the value of depreciation, you will get a net. Or to net, if you add the value of depreciation, you will get a gross. Next important one which I told is difference between MP and FC. Difference between MP and FC is nothing but NIT. Subtract NIT from MP, you will get FC. Okay. Now let us discuss the various aggregates connected with the national income. We will start with the gross domestic product at market price. See, gross domestic product at market price is the market value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year. It is the market value. So it includes NIT. To the value of a product, you add tax also. Then it becomes its a market value. All final goods and services, you don't consider intermediate goods at all. The value of only final goods and services are taken into consideration. And goods produced within the domestic territory of a country. That is what we call gross domestic product at market price. So GDP MP is the market value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year. Next one is gross domestic product at factor cost. It is the money value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year. Money value. The product's value. That means it excludes NIT, net indirect taxes. So if you want to calculate GDP FC from GDP MP, you need to subtract NIT. I told you always, from MP value, if you want to get FC value, subtract NIT. So what is gross domestic product at factor cost? It is the money value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country. And GDP FC we can calculate by subtracting NIT from GDP MP. NIT means net indirect taxes. Next aggregate is net domestic product at market price. I told you the difference between gross domestic product and net domestic product. The value of depreciation has to be subtracted. So we can define net domestic product at market price as market value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year after deducting the value of depreciation. You need to subtract the value of depreciation from the market value of all goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year. So GDP MP minus value of depreciation will give you NTP MP. Next is net domestic product at factor cost. I told you MP and FC difference is NIT. So it's the money value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country during a year after deducting the value of depreciation. So NDP-FC is equal to GDP-FC minus depreciation. So from MP, if you want to get a FC, you need to subtract NIT. Next is gross national product. I told you national product is the value of goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country. It can be inside the country or outside the country. If GNP-MP, if it is GNP-MP, it is actually market value. So it includes NIT. Then gross national product at factor cost. It's the money value of all final goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country during a year. That means we have to subtract NIT from GNP-MP. NIT if you subtract, you will get a GNP-FC. Next is net national product at market price. Gross and net difference, you know, the value of depreciation. So net national product at market price is net market value of all final goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country during a year. So it includes indirect taxes because it is NNP-MP. And the final one is net national product at factor cost. It is the money value of all final goods and services produced by the normal residents of a country during a year after deducting the value of depreciation. So NNPFC is also called national income because NNPFC is always equal to the income earned by the people in the form of rent, wages, interest and profit. So NNPFC will always be equal to factor income, and factor income is nothing but national income. So NNPFC is called the national income of a country. So that's all about the various aggregates connected with the national income.